Never ever have enough time to play at all. You know everybody wants to walk in someone else's shoes. Everyone's forgotten who they are. Such a grind to waste its time.
Welcome back to the Otter Creek in Rio Grande. Now, as I get started here, it's towards the end of June, and I've got a big family reunion coming up and the 4th of July. So I'm not gonna do a lot of work on the model railroad probably for the next 2, maybe even 3 weeks. So I've got a limited amount of time that I can kind of do some things in here. And so I'm not really wanting to get started on anything in this area until I kind of feel like I can do what I want to do with the amount of time. So I've got a lot of extracurricular things that need to take place probably before I even do that. And so there's power that needs to come over to Cloud City, the bus line and other things. And I need to explore how I want to get across the door. I think for sure I want to go ahead and build the frame for the door. And because I've made a lot of changes to the underneath side of the control center, which is in there, it's a rat's nest. I need to kind of clean that up and make maybe some permanent changes in there. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do, I guess is what I'm getting at in this video, but I am gonna bring you guys along because it's the theme of the Otter Creek and the Rio Grande to just kind of share what I do when I do, just to give everybody an idea of what it's like working on the large model railroad and just bring you along. So that being said, I'm gonna try and figure out what to do next. There it is. It's nothing to be super proud of, pretty crude. I've got a pretty good kind of gap right there. And I didn't do myself any favors, when I put the door in. Nearly everything I've done on this model railroad has been a first. So, to include installing a door. But nonetheless, it's going to work. It's going to work for what I want it to do. And I do think that it looks better than the unsightly gaps that existed before. Now, the real issue is trying to figure out what I want to do with the wiring. I think the DCC, I can pretty easily hide it either on top of or maybe even cut a channel just on the inside of the wood there and then come out somewhere right around in here, which is about 50 inches. I think that's very doable. The other issue that I'm just not sure about yet is I want to come from not this socket, but another one further back where I've got a surge protector. I want to come from there all the way back around, to where I can power on this section of the railroad from from the same place that I turn on the rest of the railroad. It'd be a total of 6 off-on switches that bring the railroad to life. The problem, of course, is getting the wiring there in such a way that it just isn't ugly. And I don't know how, I could maybe hide it behind the wood. I think that would be pretty in depth. I'd have to rig up something with a router, and it'd have to be pretty deep. So I don't really want to do that. The other option is coming up with some maybe professional grade item to run across the door here that I could just come straight across, that you wouldn't ever have to worry about tripping over anything. You might have to step on top of something or over something, but hopefully it wouldn't trip. And then I think I could hide those wires on the back side of this, which is just, there for looks at the moment. It's not fastened, and then tuck up underneath here. So those are decisions that I've got to kind of work out. And then of course, I also don't know exactly what I need, what I want. It's one thing to not have what you need. It's a whole nother thing to not know what you need. And I've got a little bit of both of that going on. So I guess we'll figure out what happens next when it happens. Another little project that I've got going on is kind of fixing what this is. So I was running a train, and it had been a while since I had cleaned any track. So I went in here and cleaned track. And in the process of cleaning the track, I pulled this rail. Of course, you can't see it from that camera angle, but I pulled the rail away from the turnout that's in there, so no trains can go through. So I've known all along that something needed to be done in here, both with fascia, scenery, whatever, with this, so that I can get easy access to the track that's up in here for cleaning and pulling derailed train cars out of. So that's kind of what I'm going to try and do today, is figure out something going on with this. It's not pretty, but it should be functional. I've got the track re-railed, and what made that just a little more difficult is these are plastic. I'm double gapped here, and those plastic rail joints are always kind of a pain in the butt no matter what. And if you're curious what kind of started this whole thing, normally I can come into the layout room and turn the layout on and start running trains without having to do any kind of extensive cleaning of track. It's been pretty nice. But here recently, I've been noticing problems, and I got to looking really close, and I started finding rat turds. I have some kind of rodent.
I don't think they exist.
That has infiltrated my operation, and I got to looking at the time saver, and apparently he's very fond of the time saver. So I started cleaning track, and I did go and buy some sticky traps. So I've got 4 sticky traps laid out, and I'm hoping that I will catch him and any of his friends, because I don't know, I just kind of assumed that maybe what's going on is I've got rat urine on my rails in a few places, and I don't see any evidence of him being back here anywhere. But there's definitely evidence in multiple locations. You know, you find one and then you start looking around and you find lots of evidence. So hopefully the sticky traps will take care of that. And I need to do something with the front door. I think the door, coming underneath the door, is where he's coming in at. I can't be 100% sure, but I think that's where, because I can't find any holes anywhere else where he would be coming in other than underneath the front door, because I got a pretty sizable gap there. This is the Maryland and Pennsylvania. Number 6, which is my only standard gauge locomotive. I don't know what happened there. I don't have the frog juiced in here yet, which may be what happened. I don't know. It didn't derail. All right, I'm going to clean some more track and get back to other things. Now you might be wondering, how did you pull the track away from the turnout in there if your track was glued? The track's not glued. I'm sure there was a really good reason at the time why I didn't glue it beyond this point over here. I don't know what it was now. The reason I'm not gluing it now is, I don't know. I might need to go ahead and do that now that I've got this where I can get to it easily. Would be a good time to do that. I think I will. What I'm going to do is just kind of spot glue it in, I don't know, 4, 6 different places. All right, that's some exciting model railroading right there, isn't it? All right, let's see what else I can get into. I've got a couple of things that I need to do in this area underneath Maroon Creek. I've got 2 bus lines that are already kind of laid in there on the underneath side of that. One stops right here, which will continue on underneath the bench work through here and go all the way around. It's kind of hard to see, but the upper spline area here where the high line leaves frying pan going south. So I can do that. And the same bus line, you know, because they're interfaced on the underneath side there with a circuit breaker, that same bus line stops somewhere right in here where I need to tie in and then come up, and then it will go on the underneath of the spline as it goes to Hellgate. So that's something that needs to be done. And then the other thing, which I talked about at the beginning of the video, is taking a bus line from underneath here, going over the top of the door to Cloud City. And that's really what I would want to do first. I'm not sure how this is going to work because I don't have a power supply for my DB150. I ordered it over a week ago. The seller still hasn't shipped it. I've messaged the seller and they have chosen not to contact me back. So I don't know. I'm probably not going to end up getting that, and I'll have to wait a while to tie in the power source that is associated with that going to Cloud City. I think I can still run the bus line. I just won't be able to power it the way I want to. I think it would be beneficial for me to go in and clean up this rat's nest first and kind of figure out exactly where the DCC needs to run, because I don't know exactly where this booster is going to go. I also need to figure out where the power supply for it will land, and where exactly are the incoming power lines going to come. Because I've got, it's just terrible in there right now. It looked so neat when I got finished with it, but I've added stuff, took stuff out, and did some other things. So I got to do something with this. I'm going to go in armed with a bunch of zip ties and see if I can't do something in here and get it more suitable for future work. All right, we're going shaky cam here. Welcome to the bowels of the Otter Creek and Rio Grande. I thought I would just kind of show a few things in here. It's been a long while since I've done any videos on wiring, which is probably a good thing looking at all of this in here. But I thought I would, you know, since I'm at this, I would show a few things and kind of explain some of the changes that I've made. Once upon a time, I had a Raspberry Pi that was running the railroad. And since my other computer crashed, which is right there, I was able to bring it back to life, and I've done what I can to kind of limp it along. So as long as it's still working, I'm gonna use it as the interface for JMRI and configuring the LCC nodes. And the good thing is, if it does completely crash, all of the infrastructure that I'm setting up right now will transfer immediately to my new computer, which is basically the same computer, just it's better, right? Newer, better, stronger, faster. So this is a hub that connects to the computer, and then right here is my LCC buffer. So it comes in and connects to the hub here. And I've also got the Wi-Fi. So this is a box that my Wi-Fi hard line comes into this. This one goes out to the work desk, so I can set up at the workbench and do a live show and have hardwire internet instead of Wi-Fi. Now this is my Wi-Fi, and I still need to do some things with the cabling there. So I've also got Wi-Fi in the room. So that's another thing. And then this blue one coming out of the splitter box there goes into the hub. So the computer, which will have some kind of infrastructure here to sit on, I haven't done that yet, also has Wi-Fi hardwired. Now, I got a few more things to do like this. This is the power supply to my monitor. And for whatever reason, I set that up to come on with power. And this adapter, it's on all the time. And so I want this power going to my monitor to be plugged into here instead of a switched power that's actually back there. So that's one of the things I'm working on doing besides cleaning up the wiring itself. Now, let's kind of look behind me. This is the PR3, which I'm connected to it also going to my hub. So this allows me to get Decoder Pro. This is going to my program track, which is back behind me. And then all of my, I'm not gonna say all, but my, I guess it would be the west end Maroon Creek node is right there. And I got stall motor drivers, and I got a block occupancy detector up there that I still haven't, see if I can find, there they are. I've got all those coiled wires up there to the block detectors that I still haven't connected back over here. Let's see if I can find it. There it is, right up there. If you can see that, that's a wire nut that's designed to go to specific locations. I should be able to pull all that down and kind of do it in front of me instead of up in the air like that, and then just screw it back in place. That's the idea. This is the Wi-Fi for the room. So, you know, if you're using either your phone or any kind of Wi-Fi controlled throttle, you can plug into that. It's being broadcast in the room. And then I've got this power supply it's switched. So all of that remains dead until I turn on the power to the layout. All right, that's probably way more than anybody wanted to know about what's going on inside here. I've still got some wire cleanup to do. I'm going to do that and then figure out what else to do. Another 3 days have passed and I still don't have my power source for the DB150. So, and just to kind of explain is that this bus line here, I just need to disconnect it underneath this section of plywood there. And you know, the part that's running back that way that's already there goes to Hell Gate. And then this just needs to be pulled underneath the control area where we were just at. And it doesn't even need to go to the time saver. It just needs to go as far as the time saver, like right in here somewhere is really all the further it needs to go. So I think I'm just going to give it another full week and save that particular project for next week. And I've got an idea for another video that's coming up that may or may not include that. I haven't decided yet. It just kind of depends on how the week goes, what I get in the mail and other things. But eventually, you know, I'm excited to get to this. I just want to make sure that I'm not putting any carts in front of any horses. All right, guys, thanks for watching the Otter Creek and Rio Grande, and we will see you next time.